Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for your patience in waiting for another Puget Parvy video. This team just sure knows how to go on a roller coaster ride over the last week. Obviously, 1-5 in that recent homestand, and then sweeping one of the best teams in baseball, the San Diego Padres, and then a win in Game 1 against the White Sox today. So, it's good not to get too low. It's good not to get too high. So over the last 4 games on this 4 game win streak, they've allowed a total of 4 runs, which is incredible to see because to start the season, the strength has been the offense, and the pitching staff has been pretty pedestrian and league average. Starters stepping up who were not on the opening day roster. Hancock was on the opening day roster, but it's questionable whether he should have been. Nevertheless, he's been terrific. And Logan Evans, have a start to your big league career. Logan Evans, 6 strong innings against San Diego, a very good lineup. He gave up 7 hits, but lowered his ERA to 2.57 against the Padres last Friday. And then the bullpen was nails in that series. Carlos Vargas did a lot better than he did in the Yankees series, especially, he gave up that big home run to Judge. Great to see Legumina is becoming more and more of a leverage arm for the Mariners. A guy that had a great spring training, started in AAA, and has worked his way up to the big league roster, and he's showing why he deserves more playing time here. Colin Snyder has turned it around a little bit. Still a bit of a coin flip as far as whether he will pitch well or not. The reason I haven't been making a lot of videos recently is because I haven't had a chance to watch the game, so I don't really feel comfortable breaking down things that I don't watch. But looking at stats, I mean, Logan Evans, who's a pitch to contact kind of guy, 7 swings and misses against the Padres. He had the most in that game. And then, even when pitchers aren't relatively sharp, but they're giving up hard contact, like today, Castillo gave up 10 hard hit balls, and yet he still led the game in swings and misses with 11. And he had just some wicked movement today. I don't know if it's because it's so windy in Chicago or what it is, but he's throwing some four-seam fastballs that do not look like four-seam fastballs with how much ride they have. The big storyline today, obviously, Julio hitting the grand slam. Great to see him. He's getting hot. And also Troy Taylor. I think it's time to send him back down to AAA. He almost blew a 5-0 lead there in the ninth. He gave up a run and loaded the bases. The tying run was up to bat with 2 outs there, and Munoz had to come in, and he threw 4 pitches. A 5-run lead should be a situation where you never need your closer, and unfortunately, they needed him today. Regardless, I don't want that to taint the fact that the pitching staff has been terrific, and the offense has, leveled out a little bit. Obviously, the New York series, they couldn't get more than 2 runs, but outscored the Padres 15-3 in that series, and today a 5-1 victory. So, if you would have told me last year with how good the pitching staff was, if they could have gotten like 3 runs a game, I'd be happy. But they're averaging just under 5, I believe, on the year, and that your pitching staff isn't even at full strength right now. You're going to get George Curry back in the Houston Astros series. Logan shouldn't be far behind. And then Bryce Miller, it sounds like he just needed a little bit of time to reset, a little bit of soreness, but nothing major with him. So you're looking at the rest of the season and thinking, okay, so we've stayed afloat this far with 3 of our starting pitchers on the injured list. We're scoring 5 runs a game. And we have injuries to our players in the field as well. Robles hasn't played since March. Luke Raley's going to be gone for 4 or 5 more weeks. And Ryan Bliss is out for the season. So those are 3 guys on your opening day lineup that are not going to play for a while. Yet you're getting contributions from other people. I mean, Ben Williamson, he's slowed down recently, but he went 3 for 4 today. Rowdy Tellez, every few weeks just decides to set the world on fire and hit a bunch of home runs. Julio's had the best start to the season that he's had in his career. despite hitting 235. He's notoriously a slow starter, and his WRC plus is well above 100, and he's not striking out as much. He's walking. So, I mean, I think the grass is green for the Seattle Mariners. If you asked me how I feel about the Mariners last Wednesday, I'd say, okay, here's the beginning of the end. And I'm sure if you've watched all of my videos, you've seen how bipolar I've been with my feelings on the Seattle Mariners. The White Sox, softer part of your schedule. And then you got Houston, who's played pretty well recently. That'll be a good series. But you've really given yourself a cushion by sweeping the Padres. Like, you could win the White Sox series and then have, like, you know, a 1-3 series in Houston, which I'm not saying that's going to happen. But if that did happen, it's not the end of the world, because you've put yourself in a position, maybe not relax, but you can overcome some cold stretches. 2.5 games up in the American League West. One thing I did want to talk about is national coverage of this team is frustrating. I know that it's a bit of a boy who cried wolf situation, where it's like year after year the Mariners look like a playoff team and they miss the playoffs by a game or a game and a half, or like they lose the tiebreaker with the Tigers last year. It's just frustrating because no matter how well they do, it's always going to be that same narrative where, whether it's fans on the East Coast, MLB Network, and ESPN, there's always going to be a shadow of doubt. Even like power rankings today, I mean, the Padres were top 10 and the Mariners, like, they put them at 11. Didn't the Mariners just sweep the Padres? Like, what are we doing here? Yeah, I'm expecting that they're maybe going to get 2 All-Stars. It just sucks that a team that's played so well and above expectations is not getting the respect that I feel they deserve. I'll be more consistent with the recaps. I've just been super busy with, like, I volunteered this weekend. I didn't have cell service. And the Yankee series, I just kind of didn't feel like talking about because it was a sad series. But from this point forward, I'm going to try to be more consistent with these series recaps. Consider this sort of a week recap. Yeah, I guess before I go, let's look over how the Mariners have fared against the rest of the league after some offensive regression. You kind of figured after that Yankees series that they wouldn't be lighting the world on fire. They're still 6th in the league in weighted runs created, plus 9th in wins above replacement. Top 10 in most offensive categories here. They're 6th in home runs, 10th in runs scored, 10th in runs batted in, 8th in stolen bases, and 2nd in walk rate. Batting average is really nothing to write home about, but as many of you know, batting average is a flawed stat. Growing up, I always thought batting average was the end all be all. I didn't have a lot of respect for like power hitters who hit like 215 and just hit a bunch of home runs, because I was always taught, like, you know, put balls in play and hit for average. What the hell are you doing? Cats. But as I've gotten older, I realized, like, okay, who cares if you just hit singles and runs aren't scored because of your singles? So I think there are a lot of other stats that tell a better picture, like weighted runs created plus, on base percentage is huge. 10th in on base percentage still are the Mariners. So yeah, there are a lot of factors other than batting average. Probably a rain out tomorrow because I checked the weather and it's 100% chance of rain in Chicago. So probably a doubleheader on Wednesday, which is also a getaway day. It already sucks to play back-to-back when you're going from Chicago to Houston. But playing 2 games in Chicago and then playing in Houston the next day is kind of brutal. So we'll see how they react there. I think George Kirby is slated to start game 1 of the Houston series. It's going to be an interesting rest of the week here. I anticipate they'll probably split the series in Houston. These teams have just been neck and neck in recent years, at least in the regular season. Feeling good right now, and yeah, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Send this video along to any of the Mariners fans in your life. Go M's. heck the Astros, and shout out to all the moms out there. I don't know, something like that.